We got 10 seconds till showtime. All right, in tonight's show, we have two very special guests for you. We'll be talking to Mason, who's a Disney cast member on board the Disney Fantasy Ship, so we get to find out what it's like as an entertainer on Disney Cruise Lines. And also, we have Ron Hiller checking in live aboard the Anthem of the Seas. And as always, we're going to have the Show Us Your Face segment and another crazy complaint that was sent to a cruise line. And also, news about the spring break cruise that kicks off with Matt and Bird heading out early Sunday morning, leaving me behind, and all this and more, because this is Cruise Week TV Live. What's going on, cruisers? I'm Joe, and together with my other host, Matt, we bring you information, interviews, and stories from all over the world of cruising. From a new cruiser's perspective, that is. Here on our show, you, the viewers, have the chance to ask questions and get answers directly from our guests. In our second half of the show, we'll be talking to cruise ship entertainer Mason McLeod all about his time on the Disney ships. But first, we're going to be going to a spot somewhere in the Caribbean Sea to talk to Ron Hiller, who's live aboard the Anthem of the Seas. Ron, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you having me. It's great to be back on. I just on a couple of weeks ago, so.
Well, it's great to have you back on the show. This is actually my first interview that I'm doing with you. Last time we had somebody doing an interview with you. That was we had, who was it? Matt. Matt was doing the interview with you last time. Yeah, so welcome. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm very excited. So where exactly are you tonight in the Caribbean? Or are you in the, are you on the way back to port?
Yeah, we left Nassau about a day and a half ago. We're on our way back to Bayonne, New Jersey, where we are going to be docking tomorrow, and I'm going to be getting off, unfortunately. A little sad about that, but had a great cruise this entire week. Went to Nassau. We went to Coco Cay, Royal Caribbean's private island, and also to Port Canaveral. So we left Bayonne last Sunday. We'll be going back tomorrow morning. We'll be docking, and of course, as I mentioned before, we're going to be getting out tomorrow. So.
Well, excellent. Did you have a lot of Coco Locos at Coco Cay?
Actually, I spent most of the day at the floating bar, and they didn't have the Coco Locos there, but I had numerous other adult beverages that I'm not going to mention here because there's little kids around here. So, but anyway, I had a good time on the floating bar and had a great time at Coco Cay. It's a great place to go to if you've never been there.
Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad you had a great vacation. I'm sorry it's ending so soon. So tell me, the Anthem of the Seas. I've not been on that ship. I've been on the Enchantment of the Seas on Royal Caribbean. What is it about the Anthem of the Seas that's different than other ships on Royal Caribbean's fleet?
Well, there's really two different things about this ship. Number one is 270. It's in the aft of the ship, and that's the place where I've never seen anything like it before. It's a bar. It's a place where you can eat during the day, but at night they have different shows. They have virtual shows in there, so you can go in there and watch groups on these big screens. It's amazing. You sit in there. It's like they're actually there. It's really hard to describe unless you actually go there. And then, they have concerts, all kinds of stuff. And the second thing on the ship, what really makes it the Quantum class, or the North Star, is the North Star, and that's the ride that takes you about 380 feet above the ship, and you get views from all over the ocean from up there, and then you look down. It's the coolest thing, and you can ride that up above the ship. So that really set that apart from your Oasis class or some of the other classes on the ship.
Wonderful. So now we're going to turn to some questions from our viewing audience. Pippa actually asked the first question. She wants to know if you've actually been able to visit the casino on Anthem of the Seas, and if so, what have you been able to win?
All right. Well, of course, I know Pippa really well. She used to be a casino dealer with Royal Caribbean. She was on the show a while back. I tried to go down there last night and actually play, and every table was full. Now, they have a huge casino on board here. but I got there probably at obviously one of the busier times. So I kept my money in my pocket and I went back to my cabin. So I have not spent one nickel in the casino. So I'm happy. I'm gonna probably hit there tonight and maybe do a little blackjack, a little roulette. We'll see. But other than that, Pippa, I have not lost any money in the casino, not yet anyway.
Well, if you haven't lost any money in the casino, then you're ahead of a lot of other people that have. I'm pretty sure. So now, how big is the ship, and how many passengers about how many passengers does the Anthem of the Seas hold?
It's over 4,000 passengers at one time, so it is a fairly large ship. I believe the Anthem is the 5th largest ship in the world. The 3 Oasis class ships, we have a Lower Harmony, and also Oasis are Harmony's largest right now. And then you've got the Quantum class, or 3 Quantum class. And Anthem is the middle of those Quantum class, so it would be the 5th largest of Royal ships. So it's a beautiful ship. It's a lot different, the way they have it set out. And hey, hello, there goes Shrek. Hang on, you guys. I'm going to flip my camera. Give me a second here. Shrek just walked by. And of course, I'm not able to do this right now. Here we go. Give me a second. I'm having problems.
Technical difficulties?
Uh-oh. Oh, well. You guys still there? Hang on.
We're still here.
Technical problems.
We're technical problems. Trust me, we understand that. I understand that better than anybody, believe me.
Now it's not letting me flip for some reason. There we go. Sorry about that.
There
right,
we go.
Sorry
Look
about
at that.
Let me go show you.
Beautiful.
Real quick here.
Let's go on YouTube.
Yes,
Wow.
we are live on Cruise Week TV.
Wow,
So here's
beautiful
Shrek.
ship that is.
It is. So this is the Royal Theater. And there's all kinds of people headed this way. Like I mentioned before, it is very busy right now. So, yes.
I can
that's
see
the main
that. Yeah, it
theater.
looks very busy.
That's the main theater on the ship, the Royal Theater. And what I'm going to start doing here, Joe, is just kind of do a little stroll, if you don't mind.
Sure, no, of course.
Kind of show you a little bit of the ship. This is a music hall. And this is a really nice venue for music, obviously. And right now, I think they have karaoke going on.
That sounds like karaoke. If I had to guess, I would say it's karaoke, definitely.
Yeah, so 2-story venue. And after midnight, they will play a lot of the music.
It's a beautiful 2-story venue.
I don't want to be too loud in here because they're singing. And back here they have pool tables and another bar upstairs here.
That's a beautiful ship, Ron. So we have another question coming in from Kevin. Kevin wants to know how many restaurants are pay style versus free?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how many there are. There are several. You've got Chops Grill, Izumi. You've got Wonderland. I'm going to show you that in a bit here. Just trying to remember why I'm walking. I think there are 5 that are where you have to pay to get in. Then, of course, we have a main dining room here. The Windjammer is the main buffet-style type restaurant upstairs. And so that's basically, there are several specialty restaurants. Now, this is where I hang out a lot, Joe. This is called Michael's Pub.
Nice.
And then every night they do have live music in here.
That's very nice. It looks like it's very kind of low key. Like it's not a place that necessarily attracts a big crowd, but just kind of like a nice quiet crowd.
And you can get food in here as well as drinks.
What do they serve for food in that pub?
Good question. Let's go look at the menu. Chicken, fish and chips, grilled salmon, a pub burger, then lots of other things as well up here. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah. Good pub stuff. Very nice.
Now, right now,
is there an additional charge? Or sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But is there an additional charge in the pub, or is it included inside your cruise fare?
No, you can just walk in, and of course, you just like any bar, you just go in and buy your drinks. If you have a drink package, the drinks are included. If you don't have a drink package, then you can just put them on your seat pass and buy them as you go, like a lot of people do. But I have a drink package, so I can basically do what I want in terms of the drinking.
Right, but for the food in the bar,
the food is extra.
Okay.
The food is extra in here, in the pub.
Very nice. We have another question coming in from Charisse. She wants to know how was Nassau. She says there's been some travel advisories, and if you have, we don't know if we have any info on this from you.
Well, Nassau's fine. I didn't get off the ship because it was like my fourth time to Nassau in about 4 or 5 months, but Nassau itself is fine as long as you just have to watch where you're going, like anywhere else you would go. But in terms of Nassau, I think you're okay. Here's one of the specialty restaurants, Izumi. It's a sushi restaurant.
Oh, I love sushi. Mm.
You guys can take a look here.
I love the way they style restaurants like that too. It's just it just gives some kind of nice feel to the atmosphere there.
Excuse me, losing my voice, but this is the famous Bionic Bar, where you can have robots make your drinks.
What?
Yes.
Question to our viewing audience: has anyone ever seen anything like that? Because I know I sure haven't. You mean actually a robot makes you, like, you pick from a list of drinks and your robot makes it for you, or?
Yeah, the way it works here, there's a tablet. You see this tablet? You go in there and you order the drink, and then you'll be put on this board. Let me get a closer look for you guys. Right here, it'll tell you when it's coming up, etc. Then the robot will make the drink. That's what he's doing right now. You can see that.
So, do you have to tip it like a normal bartender, or does it just kind of take quarters, or?
There
Wow.
he's actually serving one right there.
I've never seen anything like that, Ron.
Yeah, you have to pay for it, but it's a novelty on these ships. A lot of people like to just come and watch this. And there's the drink, and then she's going to put her CPAS card down to get the drink, and it comes right back.
Oh my gosh, I want one for my home. I'm so enthralled with that. So we have a question coming in from Periscope, Ron. Ron, we have someone in Periscope that wants to know, what is your favorite ship to go on?
I think my favorite ship right now is going to be Allure. I love that ship. It's one of the Oasis class ships, and I think it's because there's the size and just I love the aft of that ship because it's wide open. You've got just all kinds of things to do on that ship, and it's, I think from a crowd control standpoint, this ship is a little bit narrower, so over those Oasis class ships. So sometimes, like out here, it gets a little crazy. Let me show you. Like right now, well, it looks like it's finally let up a little bit, but this is the Royal Esplanade. And when you get a lot of people out here, it can get a little crazy. But again, it's not too bad. So I like the Oasis class, I think, a little bit more, but that's hard to say. Any Royal Caribbean cruise ship I'm on, I'm happy. So.
If I didn't know any better, I would look down at that picture and I would think that you were in like a regular shopping mall.
It looks like a shopping mall, absolutely. It does.
It sure does, yeah. Wow. So how many
Go
ships
ahead.
have the? I'm curious because like, how many ships actually have the bionic bar?
I think I'm not sure exactly. It might be 4. I know Harmony has it, and I know Anthem has it. I'm not sure. I'm not a total expert on model ships, but I know this one has it. I know Harmony has it. I'm sure somebody out there could say exactly, but yeah, it is kind of cool, no doubt about it.
It's absolutely cool. Now they need to make one of those that can serve sushi and that can serve a nice medium rare steak. Cooked perfectly. Um,
So one of the cool things about
what?
this ship is I wanted to show you real quick. It's Wonderland. It's a restaurant, especially restaurant aboard, where you actually come up and you paint your menu so you can see what's on the menu. And it's hard to do this with the phone.
Wow.
And believe me, it actually does come down. It takes a little bit of time. My phone's not really picking it up well.
Do you have to do that at your table too?
Yes, it's part of the dining experience. So just so you see, I'm not going to keep going, but you can see what happens. So the menu appears, and it's a great place. I actually ate here on Wednesday night and had a great experience in here. It's a totally different menu, and here's the actual menu. If you want to see what that looks like.
Wow.
It's a
That
totally
is really
different menu
cool.
that you'll ever have. I mean, the liquid lobster was unbelievable.
The place is
The little
called
caviar on the top.
Wonderland.
It's called Wonderland, and it's a specialty restaurant. So if you get you can always buy a dining package. So save yourself a little money, and that's one of the restaurants that's included in the dining package. But yeah, it's a cool place to go to. I would recommend it just for the experience, because you're not going to have anything like it.
Well, I was
It
going
was
to
a
say
lot
the
of
place
fun.
is called Wonderland. So does that mean if you eat something, it'll make you bigger or smaller, or drink something, it'll make you bigger or smaller? Just I
well,
that,
well, for me, Joe, I
fascinating.
got bigger when I ate in there, but it was in the wrong places. So you know what I
Oh
mean?
man. Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
imagine that most people would get bigger eating in there. I know I would for sure, but I love food, so you know,
absolutely.
it's just a
Here's another
price you have
look
to
at
pay when you love food.
Esplanade from this angle. So right now it's really, you got the kiosks down there, so it's a happening place. So I'm going to go ahead and walk down this way a little bit. I'm heading back to 270, and I'm hoping I can show you guys 270.
Ron, we've got a question
And
coming in from Sarah. She wants to know what your next cruise is going to be.
my next cruise is on Empress of the Seas in May, and I'll be heading down there to Cuba, because Royal Caribbean starts sailing to Cuba on April 19th, and I'm going to be on the second or third cruise, I believe, to Cuba on May 20th. So that's my next cruise. That's going to be fun. We're getting to a little bit more quieter area of the ship.
Do you
This
think
is
you'll be able
Jamie's.
to join us live from Cuba?
I don't think so.
It's worth a shot.
But this is a Jamie's Italian restaurant by Jamie Oliver. So this is a really cool place to go to. I went here on Tuesday night for dinner. Another specialty restaurant.
Does that like no? When you say like Jamie Oliver, does that mean like Jamie Oliver actually has something to do with that restaurant?
He does. You can
Cool.
get his book here.
Wow. Nice.
A little music on board right now. A little soothing music.
Oh, I love any restaurant that has live music. That's beautiful.
Lots of cool artwork on board here. If you saw this, kind of went by really quickly, but this is kind of cool.
That is awesome. That almost looks like a tube by the way it's designed.
It does. Yeah. And here's vintages.
This is actually a very special cruise for me.
It's a wine restaurant or a wine If you like wine, I'm not a wine person. Yes.
I'm a wine person, so.
I am not. But yeah, it's got a nice wine bar. You like that?
That is beautiful. How many bars are on board total? Do you know?
Oh, gee, that's a great question. A lot. I think I've hit every one of them.
Except the wine bar, right?
I went in there at least. Yes. That's
Okay.
really a good point. And then of course, here's next cruise. If you ever want to book your next cruise on board, get some onboard credit. And we made it to 270. And tonight, this is one of the coolest venues on board.
Wow. It looks beautiful, Ron.
It is. And
so what exactly happens in there?
Well, they have the virtual shows I was talking about before, right here. That whole back area there can change into whatever they wanted to change into. So those are fake curtains. Those are actually windows right there. So during the day you can see the sea right through those windows. Those are actually windows.
So that's like the end of that's like the edge of the ship right there. That's where there's okay.
Absolutely. So and then during the day they use this for little bar and eating areas, and then at night it turns into another venue for shows, etc. Led Zeppelin is going to be playing in here tonight. I actually periscoped them last night from the music hall. Hour and a half show they did. Sounded just like Led Zeppelin. It was amazing. And that's on rcperiscopers.live if anybody wants to go and look at it. Our Periscoper group. So
Charisse
this is
wants
270.
To know where all the people are. Sorry. Charisse wants to know where all the people are in there.
Right now they're over in the Royal Theater. They were going that direction. So
okay.
In about 40 minutes, this place will be full of people.
Oh, there's a show coming up. Okay.
Yes, this one here, Led Zeppelin. That's coming up at 10 o'clock, I believe, or 9 o'clock. I'm not sure.
I can't really see that screen, but you said Led Zeppelin. Is that supposed to be like a Led Zeppelin cover band?
They are a tribute band, yes.
Okay.
For Led Zeppelin. So, yeah. So we made it to this end of the ship.
Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. And that's a nice, like, 2-level venue as well. That's so cool.
It is. And unfortunately, I'm not really doing this justice, but...
No, but the Anthem of the Seas looks like it's like one of the... it looks almost like it's one of the newer ships that Royal Caribbean has. When I went on, like, Enchantment, it didn't look... I mean, don't get me wrong. When I went on my cruise on the Enchantment of the Seas, it was a very nice, very enjoyable, awesome cruise. But it didn't look quite as impressive as some of the stuff that you've shown me on that ship, on the Anthem. And I don't know if maybe it's because the Enchantment is a smaller ship, or if it's because maybe the Anthem is newer. But it
is an older ship. You know, Enchantment is an older ship, and that they were designed a specific way back then. I was on Enchantment's sister ship called Splendor of the Seas, and I kind of know what you're talking about. But this is a beautiful ship. Just all the amenities and things they've done here are just, and if you like artwork, if you're into artwork, there's artwork everywhere on this ship. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just stunning. And Royal Caribbean's put a lot of money into these ships, and it really shows. And I've had a great week on board. It's been fun. First time ever on a Quantum class for me, and I'm ready to go back. It was that fun. So, yeah. So that's going to end my at least walking tour because I got to the end of the ship.
So now, after being on a ship that large, since you said that was like the 5th largest ship in the world, would you ever think about going on to a smaller ship again?
Well, I am. Excuse me. My next ship is Empress, which is Royal Caribbean's smallest ship.
Right.
You can put 5 of Empresses in, or not 5, about let's see, it's 40, about 4 Empresses into this ship. So the size of Empress. So yeah, because Cuba can only handle certain size ships, and so that's why they're sending Empress there to Cuba. So I'm sure someday Cuba will build bigger docks and stuff, piers, to allow for the bigger ships. But yeah.
I'm sure.
So,
Yes. Absolutely, especially now, now that Cuba is becoming a new cruise destination, that's got to be exciting. Like you have to be excited to be going to Cuba, because Cuba has to I mean, that's a destination people hasn't been able to go to in such a long time. That's quite an adventure.
yeah, and I've always been fascinated by that country. So to go there before it really gets developed, I'm sure the money's going to start flowing into that country. So if I can see it before it gets developed, that's what I want to see, like the old Cuba, the old cars that they have on the streets and things like that. So that's going to be fun.
Well, Ron, we're getting close to the end of this segment. But honestly, this has been an awesome, amazing, really amazing tour of the Anthem of the Seas. I want to thank you so much for giving us a tour of the ship, and I hope you enjoy what's left of your vacation. I know it might not be too much, but I hope you get to enjoy the last little bit of it, Ron.
Great. I hope I was able to do this justice. Probably not, but it really is a beautiful ship, and I would recommend if you get a chance to book one of these ships, you'll have a great time, great crew, and have a wonderful time on board here, no doubt.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you haven't talked any of our guests, any of our viewers, into the show onto going onto that ship, you've talked me into it with all the exciting stuff like Wonderland and the robot bar. You've talked me into it for sure, because I love to see all that stuff. That is really cool. So anyway, Ron, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you on the show again.
Thanks, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, so before we continue on to our next segment, first I do want to tell you really quickly about vMix, because without vMix, we wouldn't have the easy ability to produce the show that we are able to produce. We wouldn't have the easy ability to bring guests on. vMix produces the live video production software that runs our show, and now with vMix 19, it allows us to handle up to 8 guests at the same time. So if you're trying to produce a live web show, you need vMix. For a totally free 2-month trial of the software, be sure to go to vmix.com, and we thank them so much for their support. Now it's time for our Crazy Complaints Department. Our Crazy Complaints Department is open. This week's complaint comes from one guest who just really doesn't understand that there are 4,000 other guests on the ship who are just as important as they are. Yes, this is a customer service nightmare come true. A couple on a Mediterranean cruise complained that their captain was rude and did not comply with the requests for the cruise ship to wait for them. Before the couple left the ship to visit the port of call, they left a note for the captain that they would be returning to the ship 2 hours after the planned departure time. Their reason? Too much to do in port. Of course, the captain pulled the ship out of port at the planned time, and the couple had to catch another ship to meet up with their cruise ship at the new port, after which they sought compensation for the travel costs that they had to cover. That is a customer service nightmare come true if I ever heard one. And I know because I used to work in customer service. So, if you have guests that you work with for a cruise line and you have a crazy complaint story like this one, please be sure to email it to complaintstories@cruiseweek.tv. And also, please tell us how you resolved it, because we have to know. We definitely want to hear from you. Cheers. Now, our next guest is going to be Mason. He's an entertainer from the Disney Fantasy, and I'm excited to talk to him because, well, 2 reasons. One, I'm a Disney fan. I'm a diehard Disney fan. I've seen almost every Disney movie there is, and we have a lot to talk about because most of our viewers on the show, I know, either are Royal Caribbean fans or are Carnival fans. So I thought it would be nice, and I thought it would be a really great idea to have someone from another cruise line on board. So now we'll go to Mason. Mason, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Mason, I'm doing pretty well. It's been a rather. We had a great interview with Ron. I learned things about Royal Caribbean ships that I did not know, and I'm excited to learn more about Disney ships that I don't know, even though I've been on 2 Disney cruises so far. As I understand it, now, is it true that Disney still only has the 2 cruise ships?
No, we
I
have
mean, not
4
two. I'm
now.
sorry, 4.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
correct,
right.
4.
Yes, I'm sorry. You guys had 4 because I remember the first time I was on a Disney cruise ship, I heard they had built 2 more. Like they had, that's when they had just gotten done with the Dream and
In the fantasy.
yeah. So now you work on the Fantasy. That's, as I understand it, you said it was Disney's biggest cruise ship.
That's the biggest cruise ship so far, yes. And coming later in the years, where I think Disney is about to build 2 more ships.
Ah, this is news to me. I haven't heard anything about this. Anything news about their names or how big they're going to be, or if they're going to be bigger than Fantasy?
None of that yet. Just know that there's going to be more Disney cruise ships to come.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You can keep that a secret if you really know. It's okay. I understand. Anyway, no, it's like Disney Cruise Lines. Honestly, I've been on, I think, 7 cruises total so far. I've been on Carnival. I've been on Royal. I've been on Disney twice. By far, I thought Disney was my favorite cruise line to be on.
Hmm.
I was a little worried about that at first because I'm not a big fan of children. Okay, but going on a Disney cruise ship, I thought it was going to be like flooded with children, but I was actually quite surprised to find out that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Is there like maybe I found secret areas of the ship where kids were not allowed on or something like that? But what seems to be their secret of keeping the children away?
There are adult areas. There is a 18 and up older area after 9 o'clock. And the Disney Fantasy, it's called Europa, which is based around all of Europe. They have a carousel bar, which is called La Piazza, where they have live music played there. They have the pub, which is called O'Gill's, which is just like an Irish pub. They have Ooh La La, which is like a champagne room. And then they have the underground tube, which is like their nightclub area that they have.
Very nice. So now we have questions coming in from our viewing audience. Jared on Periscope, he wants to know what your job on the Disney Cruise Lines is.
I am a main stage performer, dancer on the Disney cruise ship, so I do all the main stage shows and deck shows that happen on the Disney Fantasy.
So you all like the really exciting stuff, like the golden Mickeys and whatnot.
Our shows on the Disney Fantasy are Disney's Aladdin, the musical spectacular, Disney's Wishes, and Believe.
I'm sorry, you said Disney's Wishes. Is that anything like the fireworks show?
It has the same music as the firework show, but the whole story is completely different.
Every time I've been on a Disney cruise, like the 2 times I've been on 2 times, I should say, I've been on a Disney cruise, I've been absolutely impressed with the restaurants that they've had. Of course, I live in Orlando, so
Hmm.
the Disney parks are in my backyard. Cinderella is my next door neighbor, however you want to call that, you know. So, but I've always been impressed with Disney food in the parks. I've been impressed with the restaurants there, and the cruise lines did not disappoint me. In fact, they almost took the food up a notch. Um,
Yes.
I never felt the need to go to any of the specialty restaurants on board. Would there be a reason for me to go to specialty restaurants on board? Or do you think that maybe like even the specialty restaurants, their food is up to par with the rest of the restaurants?
I mean, there are 3 restaurants that they have is Royal Court, Enchanted Garden, and Animator's Palette that you have a rotational dining. So every night you're assigned to a restaurant. So it'll be on your Key to the World card. So maybe Sunday you have Animator's Palette, and then Enchanted Garden, and then Royal Court, and then it could just go on that for the 7 days that you have on the ship. And you can also do more specialty dining for which is called Paolo and Remy, which are also 18 and up and older for that, but you do have to pay a little bit extra in order to eat at those. So that would be kind of your specialty restaurants.
So now I know the answer to this question, but I know some of our viewers might not because a lot of our viewers are Royal Caribbean fans or Carnival fans. But do they have fireworks every night, or is it just once per cruise?
Well, right now we are the only ship that can do. We now have two firework shows at sea. We have our Pirate Night that either happens on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the Eastern and Western Caribbean cruise that we do. And now we just gained Star Wars Day at Sea, so we have a Star Wars fireworks show after the deck show that we have also.
Are you able to describe, like, give us some kind of a sense for some of the shows that they have on board the ships?
So we have our three Broadway spectacular shows: Aladdin, Wishes, and Believe. We also have deck shows that happen, which happen on Pirate Night, Star Wars Night, and sometimes a Variety Night. And then on Variety Night, they have different acts that come in to the ship that do on the main stage shows that happen at night. So it could be juggler, magician, singers, whatever they decide to use that week. And then they also have special stuff that happens for the adults in the club areas. So, like in the Tube, they have a few nights that they do special stuff and shows that we also do as well.
That's excellent. So, what about bars on the ships? Do you guys have a good number of bars? Do you think, or or are they more hard to find than on other cruise lines?
If you go straight to the Europa section of the ship, there's about 5 bars there. And then throughout the ship, there are about, I would say, 7 other, other bars around the ship that are really easy to find.
Well, even 5 bars in that section, like honestly, I think I could find enough trouble to get into in those 5 bars. Jeez.
Yep.
So, what do you guys do special that's just like maybe more geared towards people who have children? Because being a Disney cruise line, I can imagine you have a lot of children that do come on board. Although, thank
We
goodness I
have
couldn't find them.
we have like dance parties that happen on the atrium floor, which is like the main lobby. We also have like in the Disney parks character experiences that you can go around if you look at your navigator to see all the characters if you want to get their autographs or whatnot. But we also have kid spaces. So there's 3 kid spaces. There's Vibe, Edge, actually only 2 kid spaces, sorry. Vibe and Edge, which are more gored to like the teenager ones, and then we have like a nursery and a small worlds club.
That that's really cool, and I honestly I think that's really good that you guys do that for the kids. So, what
Mm-hmm.
is it like being a crew member on the Disney ships? I feel like it's. I know for like like cast members in the parks, it's like Disney's very strict with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what is it like being what's it like on the ships versus maybe working for Disney somewhere else?
I used to work at the parks before I worked at the cruise ship, so there are a few differences. But as a crew member on the ship, we're as entertainment, we're allowed to go around and mingle with the guests as long as we're not in their way, because obviously uh, the guests they pay so much money and they deserve the best out of all the cruises. But we get to it's really a great experience to see everybody, and because it's a 7 night cruise, you actually get to help the experience with the guests. You get to really know them throughout the week instead of like a 3 to 4 day cruise where you really don't get to have that many experiences. So therefore, they only see you like once or twice. But this time, you really get to make a connection with them and make cruises spectacular and magical.
About how many days off do you have on the cruise? Like, do you get time off, or do you get like time to go back to port and like maybe see your family, or
Since I live in Orlando, every Saturday we port. I usually try to go back and go see my family and go to my house. But we do get a few days off, especially like around the variety nights or the opening night. But whatever days that I have shows, I usually am busy from 4 to about 10 o'clock at night to do all of that. Or I greet in the morning to help with the character experiences.
So now, like, as a dancer in the shows, do you have to like? I mean, do you have to do like necessarily the same things that the other cast members would do? Like, do you have to go to mingle with the guests outside of the shows and like do meet and greets, or do you just like do you just kind of stay behind the scenes?
We usually stay behind the scenes. We're not for Disney. We're not allowed to go and do meet and greets after the shows. But we do portray a certain amount of characters. We're not actually those characters in the shows, but we portray them for the guests. So obviously, if they're just like seeing you around the ship, they might notice you. But other than that, you're supposed to just have them have the magical experience for themselves.
Very nice. So now here's a big difference. Here's something that might be a big difference to a lot of people. Are there casinos on the Disney ships?
There's not a single casino on all 4 Disney ships.
Oh, that's disappointing. Do they know why not?
uh, just I guess they just never decided to put any onto the ships. Their choice. I really have no idea.
Hmm. I mean, it's somewhat disappointing. Some of our guests, like I know they like to go on the cruise ships and they go right to the casino, and I understand it. It's
Hmm.
kind of a fun thing. It's a fun time for them. So it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's something different to not have a casino on a ship when you're on
Definitely.
vacation. So, well, when you do your shows though, how long is it that how long are the shows and how often do you get to practice before the shows before you actually have to go out and perform? And how often are the shows changed?
We do a different show each night. So on Sundays, we usually do Aladdin, and every show we usually do 2 shows a night on the Walt Disney Theater stage. So we have a 6:15 and an 8:30 show. So if your dinner is at 6:15, you get to watch the 8:30 show, and vice versa with the other part. Usually, I get there to warm up for my 6:15 show around 4, so I can get ready, warm up, and do whatever I have to do to start getting prepared.
Excellent. So you get a lot of time out in the port, and do you get to explore maybe like the different ports that you visit?
Yes, of course. Yeah, most of the times we get to go off and go either get Wi-Fi or go explore wherever we port. So just have to be back on at a certain time, so the ship doesn't leave us.
So what is your favorite port to visit?
I really enjoyed Cozumel on our western, and on our eastern, I enjoy St. Thomas. Those are my 2 favorite ports. I
Why
personally like.
why Cozumel? I'm curious because when I went to Cozumel, and I actually did go to Cozumel on a Disney cruise, I got to do an
Hmm.
excursion, and I got to go actually out onto like into Mexico to the Mayan ruins and visit like the historical stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Do you get to do
Hmm.
that stuff as well, or is it like you guys are kind of limited?
We can sign up for port adventures that Disney signs up to do the excursions, as long as they're not booked. But we have to pay money for that, which is no problem. But most of the times, we usually, as crew members, usually just go out, try to get some Wi-Fi, get some sun for a few minutes, and then get back on. So it's mostly just finding those Wi-Fi spots, unless some days you really want to go and find an excursion. Uh, they're really nice.
So have you made any lifelong friends with any of the crew members?
Oh yes, of course. All through all departments, engineering, management, deck, hotel and beverage, and especially my cast, because our cast is the only group of people. We're about a group of 50 that stay together throughout the whole contract. So like other crew members have different contracts, all of them have different ones, so they can come in and out. But our group for entertainment, we actually rehearse in Toronto, Canada for 2 months to learn all of our shows, and then we go onto the ship for about 7 months. So it's a 9 month stay with that 50 group of people.
Wow. But you're on break right now.
Yes.
All right.
Hmm.
So now, are you planning on a third contract? And if you are you going to be going on the same ship?
Um, Right now, I have no idea if I'm going to get another contract back. As for entertainment, we're not guaranteed another contract. We have to get asked back. So it usually takes a little while so they can cast the shows for the new cast because we do the cast that just got on. We do a 2-week crossover, so they can do the shows in the morning and rehearse them while we do them at night. And now, this last week was their first week of opening it without any other cast on board. So right now it's just kind of like laying low and having a good amount of time off. And if I wanted to do another ship, I would really be interested in either the Magic or Wonder. They have some new shows that are just upcoming right now.
Well, the Wonder was very honestly. I was quite impressed with both the Wonder and the Dream the last time I was on Disney Cruise Lines.
Mm-hmm.
But now, earlier you mentioned something. You mentioned that you got to get up, like when you got off the port, it was exciting for you because, like, I mean, you got to get like go see the destination and get Wi-Fi. Does that mean you don't get Wi-Fi when you're on the ships, or do you get Wi-Fi? Do you get Wi-Fi on the ships? And also, how is the food for the crew members, your crew on the ship?
Mm-hmm. We can get Wi-Fi on the ship. We have to pay for it though. So usually about 250 megabytes, it's about $10, and then 500 megabytes, it's about $20. So it just it depends on if you really want to spend that much money for the crew or not. But for the food, we have a crew mess that's all the way in the aft to the back of the ship that has a variety of food. That is, we have a good salad bar. Good. There's always there's always white rice. There's always chicken, some sort of pasta, and then there's all like specialty nights that we can have that are we have like maybe carved ham, carved turkey, and a dessert section, or if you just want like plain food for people who don't like spices that much, we also have that as well. So it's a for the Disney Fantasy, it's a lot better than the smaller ships because it is a bigger ship.
Right. So tell us about the upcoming Beauty and the Beast show that's coming. If you know anything about it, is it at all going to be like the one at MGM? Well, what used to be MGM, Disney's Hollywood Studios.
I have no clue, but I'm gonna have a guess that it's hopefully be remade as the new Beauty and the Beast movie that just came out.
Okay, so more like the actual live version, you think?
Live action, hopefully. I think.
Okay.
Or try to get a mixture of it, but I have no clue.
Well, either way, that would still be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so when you're back home, you're in port for, you say it was 2 months in port, then you got 7 months out, or I'm sorry, like was it 2 months in and 7 months out?
For to start with, for the whole contract.
Yes, you had 2 months in Toronto.
Actually,
You
no.
said too.
Yeah, 2 months in Toronto. We rehearse all of our shows in Toronto, so it's a 9-month contract for the whole thing.
Right on. Okay,
So,
now I understand that. I just want to make sure I understood that. So, like, now before you started working on Disney cruises, was that the first time you had ever been on any cruises, or did you go on like any Carnival or Royal before that?
I've been on a Carnival cruise before. My dance studio actually got to perform on it a long time ago. We did a performance on their theater. So that was my first ever cruise, and then everything else I've done Disney cruises, but I have never sailed the Fantasy, but I worked on it, so
Nice.
that was a really neat experience.
So, how do you feel that Disney ships compare to Carnival?
I'm a little biased now that I've worked on a Disney ship. I personally like Disney. They go above and beyond to meet high guest expectations. It may not be casinos or whatnot, but I feel like we give a good strong cruise for every single guest.
What are the crew quarters like on the Disney ships?
We have a pretty good few crew quarters. We have a nice deck area on deck 14. For guests, there's about 13 decks, and then there's a 14th deck just for crew that you can go chill out at. And then below we have a bar back in the back aft of the ship for us, like a coffee area, red bar, smoking area, and then towards the front of the ship we have washers, dryers, clothing amenity, where you pick all your wardrobe at, and obviously your crew cabins.
So tell me, are the drink prices for the crew compared to the rest of the people on the ship? Are the drink prices like super cheap?
Yes.
Yes. All right,
Yes.
wonderful. Note to self: next time you go on a Disney cruise, make friends with crew member. Got it. Hey, I'm just saying because the prices for the guests
Yes.
are like, yeah, it's like, I mean,
Very
Disney
high.
prices is what I'll say. I'll call it Disney
Yes.
pricing. Because anytime I go to a Disney theme park, that's exactly what I call it.
Hmm.
So, all right. Well, Mason, thank you so much for joining us today. I
Thank you.
really appreciate it. And Disney has honestly, personally, been one of my favorite one of my favorite cruise lines to sail on. So I greatly appreciate all the information that you've given us today. And thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
All right. Well, to continue on with the rest of the show, remember, check out our main website at cruiseweek.tv, where you can find videos not only of the past web shows, but also our cruise trips and Cruise Week Season 1. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified when we post new videos. Cheers. This week's show Show Us Your Face picture comes from Barb McCudden Pepper. Here she is, taking her first cruise on Carnival Glory, and oh, she's out in front of the ship. And I don't know who that is behind her. I hope they're not throwing up. Oh, goodness. That could be trouble. I wonder how much... Barb, I wonder how many cruise ships you've been on since your first trip on Carnival Glory. And I hope that's not a friend of yours that's sick in the background. Oy. So, well, anyway, that was a wonderful picture. And if you want to send us in your best cruise photo, please send it in to... You can either email it to photos@cruiseweek.tv, and or you can add the hashtag on Facebook, hashtag CruiseWeekPhoto, to the description on Facebook, and we will find it. I also want to thank Kathy from the RC Periscopes group for giving us our shout-outs over there on Periscope and helping the Periscope chat room. It's much appreciated. And if you want to see the live video from many Royal Caribbean ships, please check out RC Periscopers group on Facebook. I'm going to add the link in the description after the show. So it's getting close to time to wrap the show up. Tomorrow, Matt and Bird are going to be they're going to be up bright and early. They're going to be heading off to New Orleans to board the Carnival Triumph on Monday for the Kelly Brewer Travel and Cruise Light Cargo Spring Break. And we're going to be bringing you live video from the ship all week. And our weekly show that week, remember, is going to be on Friday instead of Saturday. So that way we can bring it to you live from the ship. So be sure to tune in and turn on notifications on Facebook. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss anything. Also, we have an interview with Jess, the cruise director, at 1 p.m. that Wednesday. And we have our day at Cozumel with Adrian Cozumel Tours on Thursday. And Cruise Life Cargo is going to be announcing the winner of the Cruise Life Cargo giveaway on Friday. So if you have been to the Cruise Life Cargo website and have entered into the drawing, be sure to check out our show on Friday and see if you want a free cruise. The free cruise is definitely worth it for sure. And that about wraps up today's show. Another fun show, and I've had a lot of fun last week at Sea Trade. You can see our videos and our pictures on our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/realityafloat, and I'm going to be back in 2 more weeks with another great guest or 2. I don't know how many yet. And I'm going to be revealing my co-host in 2 weeks because I'm going to have a co-host then. And until then, be sure to like and share the show because that is how we grow. And so long, cruisers. We'll see you on the ships.